Down went Rolando Perez.
Oh, look at that knee from Aldo. This is the opening he was looking for, and that is it.
Then Chris Mickle.
Oh, it's just amazing, that knee.
Now the flurry starts, and Chris Mickle's in trouble. That's it.
This guy is for real. Jose Aldo is a scary guy.
Eu vejo mais ou menos isso, né?
When I fought Cub Swanson, I heard him say that I couldn't be considered a top fighter until I beat him.
All right, guys, now bring it on. Come on.
The bell rang, they came out. Jose Aldo leaped through the air like Superman. Clocked him with 2 knees. And Cub Swanson was done.
I was out for explosiveness right there. This kid is fearless out there.
I mean, that was a wrap. He's a freak.
Ladies and gentlemen, the end comes. 8 seconds of round number 1. Jose Aldo Jr.
Cara, foi muita emoção, né?
When you talk too much, you end up paying for it.
All right, gentlemen, this is it. It's 5 rounds for the belt.
Cancela tudo, né, Rocha?
Fighting Mike Brown for the title meant the world to me.
Bring it on. Come on. Devastating knees of Jose Aldo. Look at that combination. Jose Aldo now is just teed off on Mike Brown. Brown trying to survive. And that's it.
And new WEC featherweight champion of the world.
I didn't even know what to do. If I should cry or laugh, I didn't know how to react. You always have that dream to reach that point, but you never believe you're going to really be there at the moment.
Last April, Aldo defended his title against longtime former champ Uriah Faber.
Title is on the line, and here we go.
Kick to the body of Uriah Faber. Again, that was a beautiful leg kick. How many more of those can his leg take before it just stops working? Aldo in total control of this fight.
And still, the undisputed heavyweight.
The incredible thing about Jose Aldo is he's only 24 years old. He hasn't even begun to scratch the surface of his potential.
Last winter, when the UFC absorbed the WEC, Aldo became the organization's first featherweight champ.
Acho que só tem ganhar todo mundo. Eu acho que
Now with the merger, I get to fulfill another dream. I can't wait.
He really may go down as one of the greatest fighters in the history of the game.
Jose Aldo is going to be tough to beat for anyone in the world at 145. This kid is truly something special.
Jose Aldo is so good that Anderson Silva said that if Jose Aldo was 185, he'd retire.
This guy is a phenom. He's in a class of his own. Oh, my goodness.
Jose Aldo is a dynamo.
Aldo is just teeing off. His speed, amazing.
This guy is for real. Jose Aldo is a scary guy.
We respect Jose Aldo, and we actually believe that he is pound for pound the best fighter. But at the same time, if you look at our history, those are the fights that we win.
My plan for this fight is just to go out there and be Mark Dominick. And that's how I win. Be that machine.
He's just a very well-rounded fighter. It's a big, big right hand! That's what I'm talking about. Just perfect technique.
I'm a small town kid. I've grown up the whole life, 2,000 people in Tempsford, Ontario.
My sister lives around the corner from me, and then Mark and Ashley are within a block of here as well. Grandma, she's lived in the village for over 50 years.
This is little Mark. He's always been an athlete. He'd be playing road hockey on the side of the road with his buddies, and I'd come along in the car, have to wind the window down, and I would get a hug. And it didn't matter who was around. It was just natural for Mark to be very lovable, always.
He's the type of man that you'd want your daughter to marry, but he's also the type of man that you absolutely would not want your son to fight.
Mark the Machine
the Machine Dominick. The Machine was a name that I gave him, just, again, back to his work ethic.
Watch the back, look up, oh, easy.
First one to get in the gym, last guy to leave.
People come up to me and say, man, you're like a machine. And I'm like, wow, that's funny. That is my nickname.
His very first fight was for a world title. He fought in Canada's premier organization at the time against our best featherweight in Canada and won the title.
I defended that 9 times. I've won kickboxing titles as well. I've got the opportunity to fight in almost every big promotion in the world.
In March of 2006, Mark made his UFC debut.
UFC 58, Canada vs. USA, was my biggest opportunity my whole life. We're doing a Canada vs. USA, you're the Canadian champion, we need you on this card, but we need you against the #1 contender at a higher weight class. I was like, let's do it. You know, let's sign me up. I was a 5-1 underdog going into that fight.
Standing 5 feet 8 inches tall, he weighed in at 153 pounds.
I never forget looking in Mark's eyes as Bruce Buffer was announcing his name and saying, shock the world. Go shock the world.
Look at the quickness. Yeah, these guys are lightning fast.
He did what Mark does. He pressured the action. He never moved backwards. He hit Eves with multiple punches, hit him with our Team Tompkins liver shot with both his hand and his knee.
Oh, good body shot. Eves hurt.
And when the fight went to the mat, he submitted him.
Oh, Eves caught.
He got it. It's all over. Unbelievable. Triangle victory. And here we go. The push-ups for Mark Dominick. High kick. Caught his leg again. And sweeps Gurgel.
3 months later, Mark defeated veteran George Gurgel.
Mark the Machine!
To run his UFC record to 2-0, where it remains to this day.
And a lot of people I still hear to this day is like, what happened to you for 3 years? You burst out into the scene, you beat the #1 contender in the UFC, and then all of a sudden you're gone.
It was just one of those things that we had to look at. You know, was he a legitimate 155? He went back to being the champion of featherweight division in Canada.
I was fighting in Canada, all over the States. I've even fought in Japan. I was fighting top guys, but if you're not in the limelight of fighting in the UFC, you're not fighting anywhere.
But after a July 2008 victory over Savant Young, Mark spent nearly 18 months on the shelf.
It was the toughest time of my life. I had a few injuries, I had show cancellations. There was no money. If you're not fighting, you're not making any money. That was a rough 18 months.
When a slot finally opened on WEC 46, training camp fell flush in the middle of Mark's honeymoon.
You plan for a wedding a year in advance, and a lot of times your fight gets called, 3 months in advance. So, the wedding's already planned, the honeymoon's already paid for.
Mark absolutely trained on his honeymoon. I know he was running in the sand. I got daily updates.
I was staying with a bunch of honeymooners, and they see me doing push-ups and shadowboxing on the beach and doing sprints up and down the beach, and they're like, what's wrong with you? Why aren't you sitting relaxing with your wife? But, that's just the sacrifice you have to make sometimes.
Dominick doing a good job. Oh, beautifully sweet. Triangle attempt.
Mark won that fight in the first round.
Pretty good. He's got a tap. Caraway is forced to tap.
Victories over Yves Jabouin.
Eve needs to get out of this position, Todd, or the ref's going to step in here and stop it.
And former title contender Leonard Garcia.
Dominick is just coming forward at will. Leonard Garcia's got to find a way to slow him down.
Put Mark one win away from his own title shot.
If Dominick wins, he earns a title fight against Jose Aldo. That's what I'm talking about. Just perfect technique.
The fight with George Roop, I wanted to go out there and make a statement.
Again with a right hand. Dominick is just on fire. Roop is out on his feet, Mike. This fight is over, and that is a good call. That is a good call.
Has earned a title shot against Jose Aldo.
Jose Aldo, one of the best pound-for-pound fighters in the world, but you have stated publicly you do not think he's ever faced a striker like you. And coming from this performance tonight, I believe that's true.
There's no question. You just have to make statements with your performances, and I believe I did that tonight. Jose's next. I think he's best pound for pound, but he's never faced anyone like me, and I'm going to go out there and prove it.